through, this is something potentially excuse me, usually the conversation about how to become a better trader, or let me say not usually, but initially, the conversation about how to become a better trader stems on how to analyze a chart better. And I know that this is something that, of course, I've been through. This is something potentially everybody here has been through. On the only reason why I'm not catching the pips, or I guess even making the money that I want to be making through this, is due to my lack of understanding of what is going on the chart. And that is, of course, simply not true. When certain things are being applied to trading and they're being followed and obviously followed up on, and you're being disciplined in that sense, your trading results instantly can shift. And I mean in the sense of whatever has been happening can literally stop happening right now, and something new can start happening just by the shift of a belief, just by the shift of understanding, instead of being, not aware or ignorant of a certain idea. The moment that you do become aware of it and exposed to it, that is the moment where it can start being adapted and taken in, and then starting to be utilized. And that is, of course, the point of what it is. And so my idea is, or again, why I wanted to start from this focal point specifically here, is that for any of you guys that are new, and of course anybody on the recording, the central point of this conversation is to shift the way that you are viewing trading. And that is because, again, naturally, even me, even pretty much every person I know that has been trading started with this same kind of, I want to get away from the system, I need to make more money, I want to live a better life for myself, I want to have more time, I want to be able to do things that I can't currently do now. And that driving force of me wanting to stop working 60 hours a week, or me wanting to, again, improve my life in any way, was driving me. And what that drive essentially does is make it to where you are instantly trying to replace the income of again, whatever it is that you're doing with trading. And of course, that the way that this happens is that you understand how to be able to identify charts better and be able to identify the buy and the sell, because obviously if you never lose, then you're going to make a bunch of money, right? This is almost literally what I was thinking at this point in trading for me in the beginning. So to keep a long story short of a bunch of time, this is obvious, well, not, I can't even say obviously, but this is absolutely not what trading is. And I want to make that clear. But the second thing that I do want to, or the little note that I want to add to this right here, is that by definition, to maybe answer what potentially any of you guys are thinking, yes, you can make a bunch of money quickly in Forex. And that's not an income claim or anything like that. That's just the point of yes, you can put money into an account, push the blue or the red button, and be completely over leveraged, where if it would have, I don't know, went 3 pips against you, you would have blown your account like that. But let's just say that you put whatever amount of money into an account, hit the right button, and it literally does not go negative at all, and it goes immediately way into profit. Then you close the trade out. Now you've, again, by definition, made a bunch of money. But the idea of that is not consistent. And that's the point. Yes, you can throw money at the wall at this and hope that it sticks. And I say that to you with, an inept level of responsibility with that, because by definition, that is true. But again, it's not something that you can literally base a lifestyle over, and something that can be consistent, or something that you can continuously do in order to be able to pay yourself. Because the moment that you are wrong, of course, that is completely going to go the opposite direction, and you're going to lose all of the money that is in that account, essentially starting from maybe ground zero, because of the style of trading and whatever is going on. So I just wanted to make that clear, that that is true by definition. But if you are here to understand, of course, what it is that actual traders do, this is, again, the conversation, or at least where it starts, because this starts with a transition of understanding. And this is, again, why on Sundays I usually am talking about, of course, where it is that we come from. and the society that obviously is, and what has happened to us. These are the things that I usually focus on, because if you can understand what it is that you have been through, that has traumatized you, that has then conducted your behavior in whatever way, and then of course compound that and put that in with what it is that let me say you, but all of us of course have grown up in, and what it is that we were taught around the beliefs of money, the beliefs of the afterlife, the beliefs of what it is that we're supposed to be doing, the beliefs of politics, and again controlling that control of that entire narrative, and understanding that again we have been taught certain things in order to perform certain tasks, right? And obviously due to the level of the tasks that you have, you're either making X amount of money or X amount of money. Higher or lower, it doesn't really matter. All of us are somewhere in that scale on that system. But this is always one of the first points that I make with trading as well, is that this thing here, what we're doing, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to become better at, this is not something that you pay rent with. This is not something that you pay bills with. In the sense of, oh, well, I need to make this trade in order to pay my insurance payment. That is absolutely not what trading is for. That's what a job or a career is for. That is what a salary is for, is to be able to pay bills. This is something that completely transcends this entire idea. And I'll give you a little elevator pitch that I always use for it, just to make it fundamentally clear. And I literally do mean this. The same action that is committed in the market, you guys are all here, so I'm not talking to somebody in the elevator that has never looked at a chart in their life, but I usually say points. But for us, I'll obviously say pips. So if you can learn to catch 50 pips in a day, every day, well, ideally, every day, not saying literally every day you would do it. If you learn to do that, and let's just to keep the math simple, you made $5 profit. And if you learn to make $5 or 50 points over and over and over and over and over, let's say 1,000 times. Let's say you take the same style of trade, the same thing that you're looking for, and not every time, but let's just even say half of the time that you were trading, you caught your 50 pips, and then you made $5. That same thing that you were doing there, that the going for 50 points or 50 pips, and all of that, instead of it being $5, now it could be $50. And then you do the same thing over and over and over again at 50. And then at some other point down the road, it could be $500 per trade. And then you do it again over and 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 over. Continue to make the same amount of money, and then again, eventually, it scales to where it is $5,000 a trade, over and 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 over, and there is no cap to that scale. I'm not saying this as again an income statement to you guys. I'm saying that this is literally the math and the numbers of what happens when you again can do essentially the same thing or look for the same thing over and over and over, and learn to make $5 over and over and over and over. There is nothing that is going to be stopping you from getting to whatever point in life that you want, in my opinion. Do you see my point? This is again not something I'm promising you guys, just to be legally understanding it here as well. This is again what simply would happen if you applied risk management, discipline, and emotional intelligence to your trading. You always knew what you were going for. You always know what you're willing to risk. And you're obviously never willing to risk more than what you were willing to gain. One way or the other, this will end up happening. There is no but what if, or but Mike, what about this? There is no conversation for that, because again, by the numbers, if you can learn to do it here, you can learn to do it here, then you can learn to do it here. So the idea of I need to be able to make an insurance payment right now, for example, is absolutely not what I'm talking about here. What if you had to make that same trade to make the same $5 over and over for the next, 3 years? 3 years of your time. And every trade, every trade you take, if it wins, the end result is just $5. So obviously this account you're not going to be able to withdraw from, you're not going to be able to flex, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. Right now, of course. But then, when you're just working on it, all of a sudden then risk management demands $50 profit per trade. And then you just stay on it over and over and just continue to repeat that cycle over and over and over. And then all of a sudden, it just then becomes $500 per trade. And then you do it again over and over and over and over and over and over. And then out of nowhere, then it just becomes $5,000 per trade. And I'm not saying that is, again, an income statement, to be clear. That is just how math works. Really stop and think about that. This is one of my favorite quotes. And and this is, again, one of my most favorite, absolutely one of my most favorite human beings that have ever lived, but probably one of my most, the quote that, one of the biggest quotes that I live with the most. And it's this one. Hold on. Says, listen, everybody, I don't know if you guys know who Bruce Lee is. If you don't, this might not mean that much to you. He's an unbelievable human being. Unbelievable. But this is one of the quotes that he said, and I'll try to say it in a context that's really good. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 different kicks one time, but I do fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Really, and I'll say it one more time. Not because I don't think you didn't hear it. Just let that really sink in. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 different things one time. I fear the man that has practiced the same thing 10,000 times. Because imagine the mastery that you would have at that one specific thing, as opposed to, again, all 10,000 different things. I love that quote from him because that's exactly the man that he was. And that is exactly the understanding that you need to have with trading. Even if you were to take a trade tonight, it doesn't matter what happens. Somebody likes to ask me, or people like to ask me all of the time, Mike, how do you deal with losses? Does anybody want to take a guess as to how I deal with losses? Nah, forget it. You want to know how I deal with the losses? The same way that I deal with the wins. It doesn't matter. Trading, to me, honestly, guys, listen, it has become a redundancy, meaning that it is not something that even directly comes after my emotions, or that me, myself, are going after my result in whatever trade that I take. It used to be. This is something that I have worked on. You understand, to be clear, this is the entire conversation. Trying to explain where I was, and then what I started to work on was me distancing myself mentally from the outcome of whatever trade that I take. And you want to know why? Why does it matter? If I take a trade right now and I win or I lose, what difference does it make? Do you see what I mean? Now, of course, you can stop there and think, but think about my life. Mike, I can't sit there and say that when I have, a starving child, or I'm about to get kicked out of my house, or I'm going through an extremely bad abusive relationship, and I need this trade to win in order to get out, or to be able to fix whatever it is. And I use the absolute extreme on purpose, because obviously anything else in front of those aggressive things right there are obviously answered as well with it, of just you working 60 hours a week and wanting to stop. Something easy versus something aggressive. But the point is that if this is something that is then driving your behavior, you have to realize that that is the thing that is forcing you to act a certain way to give you the type of result that is happening. So whatever result is in your trading account, blue or red, is a reflection of what you are allowing to yourself to deal with. What you're allowing to persist and allowing to exist in your physical reality is then being reflected by whatever your trading results are. This is how it happens. So, again, how I deal with the bad things is, to me, the answer is it should be the same way that you deal with the good things. Indifferent. I'm indifferent to it. It doesn't, and the easiest way out of that is, of course, because it doesn't matter. Whether this one particular trade on this one day, decides to win or lose, this one, maybe 2, 3, 4 trades that I took in this one day mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. Do you see what I'm saying? There is no difference. It shouldn't. Because this entire idea transcends this tonight. Whatever happens tonight on whatever trades that you decide to take, do you really think that this is going to make or break you? It could, if of course you're allowing that to happen. But if again you're approaching trading the way that we've been talking about this entire time, you see how that's not possible? Because you simply do not allow it to? That is the conversation. You want to know, like, people, again, guys, people ask me this all of the time. Mike, how do I stop blowing accounts? Do you guys understand how to stop blowing accounts? You stop trading in a specific way, and then literally, immediately, it should never happen again. Unless, like, there was some unbelievable circumstance happening. But generally speaking, it should never happen again as long as you allow it to not be that way. That is the more important conversation about trading than how to become better at analysis. Because again, here, for all of the new ones again, let me put it to you this way. In terms of risk management, out of 10 trades, you do not even have to win half. In fact, there is risk management that you could do to where you can make it 3. You only have to win 3 trades out of 10. And to be able to be profitable on the account. Meaning you can lose more. You could literally lose more trades than you win. But despite that, still be in profit. Think about that. And what is stopping that from happening for you? You. It's not me. It's not any boss. It's not a degree. It's nothing. It's only the excuse that we tell ourselves as to why, I just can't do that. I'm not this, I have so many things going on. There's just, blah, 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 blah. We're the human beings that just start spouting excuses. When I literally just put it to you in this